to say Instagram is the LinkedIn for actors, especially when you're starting out. Put everything that showcases you as an individual and as a performer there in a curated manner. You can't for instance, on your feed, it will be ill-advised for you to come out and start, if you know that that's not what you want to represent. Every day you say you're an actor, but every time we see you partying or cooking or running errands, that can't be the only thing that you put out there. Do you understand? You have to put a very healthy mix. Some when you're at work, some about work that's already released, a bit of your personal life as much as you can handle, a bit of a side that shows you quirky, a bit of something that shows you serious, just so that you're giving casting directors something to work with. Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I didn't have to audition for a role because a casting director just went to my page and saw something that he liked. And while I'm on set, they're like, do you know it was because I saw this video on your stories and I knew that you could do justice to this character. And I'm like, oh, really? Who would have thought, right? And those are the little things that help you, and they really cost no other expense apart from the data that you're using to browse, right? So that is how I advise up and comers to be. Use your social media very well. Don't be tweeting anyhow. You have to be very guarded. You have to be very targeted about what you put out there, what you're allowed to stay in that space, right? Sometimes I put some things out there and I'm like, do I really want this to represent myself? I take it back. Sometimes I even try to put it and I second have a rethink about it, because every single thing, if you had nothing to do with the art, you could even just disappear from social media tomorrow, right, with no consequence to that. But as an actor, the truth is you need to be in that space for now. Visibility counts, because when they're casting, now that I'm doing some of the work back end and I'm beginning to act in coaching roles and consultancy, and I'm doing some casting as well, I realize that visibility is very important. I'm recently casting for a gig now, and I saw one video of a girl. I'd never met her before, but her vibe was so infectious. Like, she was just dancing. She wasn't even acting. She was on set, I think maybe in between takes, and she was just dancing and jiving. And I immediately sent the video to the producer and said, there's something about this girl, and I think that she can read for this part. So fingers crossed, she could get the part. So how did she get it? It wasn't necessarily that I saw. I mean, I went on to see some videos of the things that she had done, but the first point of contact, what made me stop scrolling, was her energy. And that could very well be the energy for the character that somebody is looking out for. So you just have to, it's like throwing Hail Marys, yeah? But you just have to do it to keep yourself out there. You can't say you're good, my work will speak for me. In a they happen. You have to put yourself out there. Like, I learned this the hard way. Some 5 years ago, I was like that. Like, oh, let me keep my head down. I feel like, if I shout too much, I might look a little conceited. Or more, I had a conversation with some 5 years ago at an interview, at an audition, and she was like, why don't you have Adoche clips on your page? Why don't you have this work on your page? Why don't you have your stage clips on your page? Who cares about being understated? Like, shout your work loud. And I thought, I had a long talk with myself after that, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start looking. So I combed through Facebook, I combed through everywhere looking for clips of my work, clips from here and there, and I started putting out there. And 5 years down the line, I'm so happy I made that decision. And I told myself, every time that I have the opportunity to keep my stories up, I will showcase parts of myself. I get calls, I get texts from people saying, I thought you were too serious. I used to think that you were just like really stiff, but you can actually be very flexible, right? There are sides to you that we are seeing now that we didn't see before. And that's how you keep yourself very supple as an actor. You can't afford to just be one way. And I mean, there's a place for having a brand as an actor. I will not understate that, right? But as well as doing that, especially if it's important to you to explore a wide range of roles, once in a while, break the script and show them. So let's say your brand is girl next door, nothing too fancy like that. Once in a while, drop one monologue that shows you as a femme fatale, for instance. And because you don't know, somebody might have been thinking of casting you, and they're like, Uche is not that kind of vibe. I don't think she's gonna. And then you see, boom. I'm like, oh, okay. Hold up, hold up. And interesting casting decisions like that even help sell movies even more, right? Maybe not only in monetary terms. I mean, like, make it more appealing when you see an actor in a way you've never seen them before, and you're like, that piques my interest. I remember when Rita Dominic did the meeting, and for the first time, people saw her as was it Clara? I think Clara, yeah. And they're like, we had never thought she would be a civil servant. Like, who thought that she would be cast in that role? But she did it, and it is. I'm sure it's an indelible mark in her career. Do you understand? So, you always need to show those sides. You always have to, and personality is key too. When I watch Hollywood actors, I watch their interviews even more, their candid moments. If you see how, you can tell that they've had a level of media training. They know what to say. They know the right things to engage their interviewers. They know how to sell themselves. Oh my God, those people sell themselves. And that's one thing as an actor. Yes, you're a vessel, right? And you're going to portray characters. That's true. But if you as Uche Chika cannot wrestle the attention of a casting director or a producer, how then do you hold their gaze enough to even consider you as a vessel to work with? Do you understand? You have to be interesting. I tell everyone that cares to listen, when you go for an audition, it's not about the sides that you're holding. I mean, that's why you're there, but it's not all about that, right? They already know you cannot even portray that character to a T, because they just gave you those sides as you entered that audition venue. So, I mean, you're going to do your best, yes, but what they're looking out for is the smile on your face, or if there's no smile, maybe if it's a grumpy character, your true personality is who they're looking out for. When you walk through the door, your audition has already started. Your audition doesn't start when they say, "Oh, are you ready? Go." Let the camera roll. No, your audition starts from when you open that door and say good afternoon, and you smile or don't smile, or you're shivering or you're confident. That is where your audition starts from. So what kind of personality do you portray? When you meet actors, you should be able to get a sense of, you go to interviews, or you hear people say, when I met maybe Johnny Depp or Robert De Niro, I never forgot that experience ever in my life. Are you able to hold people's attention? Are you able to engage in people's conversation? Which makes into the next point of view. Don't always be hung up on the acting books, right? You're portraying life. Wait, are you still? Can anyone still hear me? I hope I'm not just rambling. And
Yeah, I can. I can. It's just that you are very
okay.
smart and I can't stop you.
Oh my God. What are the things that you're engaging people in? I think that when I started coaching, like almost 2 years now, most people just are hung up on, oh, I want to read the acting techniques, what acting books, and that's fine. Do you understand? But I realized that acting is not about the textbook alone. It's a lesson on life. You could be an architect tomorrow, you could be an astronaut next week. You're working with humanity, and you cannot but be a student of humanity. What goes on around you cannot afford to miss your attention. You can't be in a restaurant and for like an hour, and you can't tell me what the color of the chandelier holdings are, or is rather, or you can't tell me what the chief attendant is wearing. You should be so aware. You should be like a sponge soaking up everywhere you are. I know that there are going to be off days when you're just like not feeling it, but actively you have to tell yourself, when somebody walks in, what do you think that person is thinking about? When the waiter is serving you, do you think she's had a bad day? Do you think her boyfriend is disturbing her and she can't wait to get off work to just tell him off? You can tell when somebody's having a good day. You can tell from when somebody opens the door that they are having an amazing day. How do they behave? What are the things you look out for? Those are the things that help you build your character. I know not everybody reacts to news the same way, but that's why you can take different things. Oh, how A reacts, how B reacts. And then you can make unusual, very interesting choices in those moments when you have to now play a character. Because no character is created in a vacuum, right? You can't just up and just be given. I can't just go to work 3 times a week and give Uche Chika, Uche Chika, Uche Chika. You know, there are bits of my character on day 2 that I'm talking about, the girl who attended to me 2 days ago, that I'm taking something from her and I'm putting in, maybe the way she rolled her eyes at her second attendant, or the way she laughs or something. That adds so much richness to to how potent that character could be and how it could come across and that's why an actor does such an amazing job. They're like, I saw my auntie in you, I could see my old neighbor in you, I could see my boss in you, because you are actually giving them an actual person, not just some made up textbook concept. So the textbook is a guide, it's the foundation. You need to build a house on that. You need to furnish the apartment, you have to paint the walls. Those are what I'm talking about now. Those are the fittings, the furniture, the painting, the upholstery, all of that. Because there's, I mean, you never stop. It's just an unending journey, and I hope that actors that really want to come on this journey are here for the real deal, and not just the bells and the whistles. Yeah, that's. I feel like I should stop talking here and let you maybe ask me a question. So just rambling and rambling. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I fell in love with
Of,
with
of, of
acting.
course, of course, you have said enough. You have said enough, and maybe let's do a kind of primary review of the world then. We talk of payments and the package, but before then, is someone introducing himself into the industry and the techniques, the measures someone should take while pursuing a career as an actor.
Okay. Very
You
important.
said so much about let's say having an agent, a manager, a publicist, and maybe a sort of a PR and communication consultant who could be helping you with your digital errands and digital media management. Seeing that a 21st century
Mm.
actor must be present on this digital media. You said
Yeah.
you talk of Instagram being the LinkedIn of creative people, and and, and you just remember me a conversation I had with a senior colleague in the industry who said, nowadays, if you look at Toby Bakri, it's not
Mm.
that Jade Osiveru always loved to work with uh, Toby Bakri. Is that Toby Bakri, since his days doing some photography or anything like that, he portrayed himself as an action person
Mm.
a decade
Brand
ago.
is a very key aspect of his appeal. Yeah.
And his social life while he's in hotels, while he is everywhere you see him, you can see him is so actionable in the sense that
Mm.
Jadi Osiberu come on and just tap in. And it has been
Yeah.
working for both Jadi and Bobby Bakri. And today,
Yeah.
a few days ago, the world is just celebrating Toby Bakri, but indirectly, the world is celebrating Jadi Osiberu, who discover.
Jade, because who feels like, yeah, and people, yeah, true.
Yeah, but what I'm just trying to say is Toby Bakri at a point said that he find engaging on social media very tasking and very consuming, very consuming. But
Yes, it is.
why Toby Bakri is not employing the service of publicists, PR and communication or digital media managers? Say, hey, I trust you with this.
Mm.
Why? Why the industry is not, why any actors, even celebrated one and well positioned or well fed people are not seeking the service of maybe UTA, United Talent Agency, or let's say locally looking for a talent agent or a manager or a kind of publicist or any PR consultant to help them figure things out. Why are they not doing? I don't think it's just not only about the payment, but having the urgency to be international, having the wish and belief. Like if I walk my ways, I could be everywhere and be celebrated. Because I once had DiCaprio said it's not that the world now is seeing more of me as a climate change activist, but before then I am an actor and I'm a producer. But I celebrated to be an actor because even me being a climate activist, it has shaped my acting career. He said, if
Yeah.
you see the role he played of recently, you can realize his climate activism, him being part of the envoy of UN climate envoy,
Mm.
being part of lots more of missions, have shaped him to be doing superb characters. While he is getting old, he's innovating. You can see the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's getting old, and he have said if he have done it right in handling his PR, his publicities, he may have been celebrated more than he's been celebrated now. Why
Well,
actors in Nigeria are not investing in this process, having agents, having managers?
well, first of all, I'm not. This position is not. I'm not speaking for the actors. I'm in no way an A-lister right now, so I can't speak for them because I don't have the same set of realities that they do. But what I can posit about that, or like try and understand about that, is it's not it's not about whether the actors don't want to, because it's very nobody wants to have to stomach all those responsibilities by themselves. I mean, posting regularly is no joke. I don't think anybody genuinely likes that burden. um but the structures that are necessary for those things to thrive are the things that we don't have here in Nigeria yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? For instance, now, there are certain things that there are certain frameworks, right, that have to be in place for you to have the wherewithal to just maintain all those services. Do you understand? And you're thinking it might just look like it's not just about the money, but it's not. It's a combination of the legal system, the communication system, the unions. All of those things come into play. So I feel like there's a problem when we always want to copy what works in Hollywood without understanding that America works differently. America has is shaped in such a way that Hollywood can thrive with all those machinery, right? Do you understand? They have a proper legal system, they have proper communications, they have all these things on lock already. Here in Nigeria, it's only a few that have access to all those things. Do you understand? So why would an up and coming star, for instance, who's just like getting their face in the sun or their day in the sun, why would they want to try and start to afford services like that that they may not be able to maintain, or at the end of the day they're just paying money and they're not getting the real rewards? It's because already there's a problem of scale already. Do you understand? Nollywood has other problems to solve, so they just feel like, Omo, let me just be riding this Instagram wave. I would do that if I were an A-lister. I'd probably just ride the Instagram wave, especially when I can get up to like 500,000 followers or even a million followers if I'm lucky. I will ride that wave. I will be on Twitter with maybe 150,000 followers on Twitter or something, and then I'm good to go, right? Because I just feel I'm in the minority anyway. Let's say less than 10% of these people, of my practitioners, have management anyway. So, my dear, I will just stick with maybe having an agent and a manager, and publicity, I will rough it myself. Because for now, we don't have those frameworks in place as a nation. So it's bigger than a Nollywood um problem per se, because I feel like Nollywood is still young, we're still growing, relatively growing. There are a lot of things. Money is just coming in. I mean, there's more money that's in the industry right now than there was 15, 20 years ago. So I think that these things are getting in place. Are they going to happen? Is it possible for it to happen? Of course. We have agencies coming up. I mean, even the management agencies are not even many enough to accommodate all the actors. Do you understand? So we need to first build all that infrastructure first, and then when they are up and running, which right thinking A-lister or even B-lister will not want to avail themselves of those services? They would. It's just that they're not that many or readily available. So they would rather just ride the Instagram wave, especially when you can make money off of Instagram. People are making money on Facebook in hard currency. So they would rather do that, enjoy the benefits, get the publicity that they want, get the jobs while at it, and so why would they really feel like, I don't feel like they have enough value that they're going to get for that money yet. Not everybody is. So the few that can are enjoying that, and the rest of them are just feeling, well, let me ride this wave for what it is. And that's why some people would prefer to just get fame at any cost, get engagement, just get the buzz. Whether it's bad, you hear people say there's nothing like bad publicity. Just get people talking about you, Sha, so that you can be trending and so that you can at least get the buzz out there. So it's like a guerrilla way of getting publicity. It works for some people. Some of us prefer, other means of getting publicity, really. But some people that can handle that, fine. I mean, it works.